Good morning and welcome, citizens of Douglas County. The March 2nd, 2026 work session of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners will come to order. Madam Clerk, could you please take roll?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Henry Mitchell III, District 1.
Present.
Commissioner Whitney Kenner Jones, District 2.
Present.
Commissioner Martin Raxton.
Present.
Commissioner Vice Chair Mark Alcarez, District 4.
Present.
Chairman Ramona Jackson Jones.
Present. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, did we have anyone sign up for public comment this morning?
Yes, ma'am. Before I call up the first speaker, I'm just going to remind you, you need to state your name again and your address for the records. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. At 2 minutes and 50 seconds, I will ding the alarm, and then at 3 minutes, the alarm will go off, showing that your time is up. The first speaker that we have this morning is Kenya Mitchell.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Okay.
You
It's your time.
Okay. My name is Kenya Mitchell, and I am here again for Malachi Mitchell. Reckless driving, deceased body in the car, killer confessed, no arrest, no accountability, killer still walks free. This is what injustice looks like in Douglas County. This is Malachi Mitchell, a graduate from Chapel Hill High School of 2022. Also went to college and career technician, cable technician, music artist. He was shot execution style in Douglas County 4 times in the back of the head. Two autopsy reports state the same thing. Execution style killing, 4 entry wounds to the right side, back of the head. 2 separate autopsies, the GBI, which went below national standards, and a $9,000 private medical autopsy report. 2 different caliber bullets pulled out of my son's head. Medical autopsy reports show the same thing after all the forensic facts, confessions, and hidden third party who was also at the scene, that no one will disclose the third party. The district attorney, Dahlia Racine, took it upon herself, because it definitely was not based on facts, and ruled it 0 charges, self-defense. For over 6 months, my family received silence after me begging publicly and silently for answers on this so-called open investigation that was never an investigation. They gave the firearm back to the killer before the investigation was closed, and they sold the crime scene before the investigation was closed. They issued a title on the vehicle my son was killed in, July 20, 2025. I flew to Harlem, New York, to Al Sharpton's organization On August 22nd, Douglas County received a call from Al Sharpton's office demanding answers for this mother that's in Harlem, New York, with no answers about her son's murder in Douglas County. 5 days later, Douglas County got scared and closed the case, 0 charges, self-defense. Over 1 year later, not one official has sat down with my family and provided a clear fact-based explanation reconciling the physical evidence with that conclusion. I have personally reviewed the investigative file, the full investigative file. I have watched interrogation footage. I have viewed the body cam recordings. I have examined all the evidence myself. And what I saw raises serious concerns and questions that deserve independent review and federal oversight, not silence. The shooter drove away from my home with my deceased son in the vehicle. The sheriff said my son was not shot multiple times in the head, despite all of the physical findings that they did not know I obtained. The coroner, Renee Godwin, denied an inquest under the 45-16-27, despite her acknowledging discrepancies and despite stating on record that her own opinion and the own medical review did not align with the clean self-defense.
Ms. Mitchell.
These are not emotional statements, these are facts.
Mitchell.
On December
Ms.
2nd, I
Ms.
filed a
Mitchell.
petition with the writ mandamus,
Ms. Mitchell, your time is up.
9-6-20,
Ms.
seeking
Mitchell.
to compel
Ms.
public
Mitchell,
officials to
your
perform
time.
their duties.
Ma'am, you're done. Your time is up.
No, my time is not up. You guys are elected officials.
Your time
November
is up.
6th.
Your time is up.
You will not be, I don't, do it, what?
Your time is up, please. Let
Okay, I can finish.
Please let go.
Your time.
I can finish, thank you. Like I said, you will be voted upon November 2026. So don't vote because it's no answers. Look how they coming up for me just because I'm speaking up for justice for my son. But y'all didn't want to arrest the killer. What are you doing? What?
Go get your stuff. Let's go.
Steve.
Make sure he get his stuff right.
Okay, our next speaker is Frank Wynn.
Thank you. My name is Frank Wynn, 8925 Orchard Drive, Douglasville. And I'm here, I'd come here earlier just as a citizen since joining the board of the museum. And I want to let you know that the reason I'm here is to introduce a new plan, hopefully a new relationship with the Board of Commissioners. I think that there needs to be listening both ways, and both sides need to have the opportunity to sit down with open thoughts and discuss reasons and critique each other and try to figure out a way forward. We should be a partnership that shows off our history and successes, our desire to work together for our community. And I would like to introduce that we've also, me included, we have a new board, we have new leadership. that we hope to show the benefits to our community financially and will make us all proud of the museum. Every one of y'all said how you agree with the concept of museum. A historical museum has benefits to the community. It's a way to show what has gone on in the past, something to identify with. We invite you as a group and as individuals, you don't have to come together, to come sit down with people on the board, with the leadership. Take a tour. I hadn't been to the museum in a long time, and I'm amazed now that I've gotten involved in this and gone down there and looked at how nice it has become. The new leadership is going to be introduced by someone else, and she'll tell you about the date that they started taking over things. But I think that before any decision has been made, we're offering not a continuation of the past, but something new. We want to start over, start the relationship over, and be partners with the Board of Commission for the sake of the community. We would propose that we sign a 2 or a 3 year lease. We want you to have the opportunity to have annual reviews to see whether or not we're making the progress you expect. Rent, we need a year of it free, but I think we're going to be able to show that there's a financial benefit even without any rent being charged. We'll pay for it. We want to raise funds to pay for improvements to the building. We will provide quarterly financial reports that are subject to your review, and any questions that you have, you can come look, you can come check out the reports, the source of them, and go over them. We would like at a minimum to start with the top floor and show what we can do for the community with that floor and show the benefit. Everything is open to discussion. A new lease with our group will give you time to assess options and other ideas for the building so that you can see the lease is, with us, is beneficial to you.
Okay. Thank you.
I have,
Attorney Nguyen, your time is up.
can I give a handout to y'all? Just,
You can give it,
I got a copy.
You can give
Give all of them to you,
give it
Give
to
them
the,
to me and I will.
give it to the
pass them out.
sheriffs.
but it's got a little bit more specific information.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Again, the buzzer's going off at 2 minutes and how many?
45 seconds.
45 seconds, and then they have 15
15
seconds to wrap it up. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
The next one on our list is Chris Arnold.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing today?
Good morning.
I've got these handouts too.
Give it to the deputy. Thank you.
Got a continuing theme here. My name's Chris Seshri Arnold. I live at 14061 Veterans Memorial Highway, Villarica. I'm going to go over briefly, in the packet that I just handed out to you, there is a section called What's in the Museum. Because I think there are a lot of folks that haven't been to the museum in a while, so you may not understand what we have there and the importance of it. It's a historic building with a really dramatic history. It generates memories for a lot of citizens. People come in to have their anniversary pictures taken where they got married, and some people, they found out where they became a widow in the courthouse, and then they also watched a trial for justice. The building holds so much history that has been a public building, and it's got public access that a lot of people come just to see it. Through staged exhibits, information about events, people, and culture come alive through spoken narrative, questions, and a great deal of learning happens. It's not stagnant signage and reading, it's interactive, informative, and often a happy surprise. The museum is also a repository of knowledge with decades of newspapers, family history files, materials that may not be on display, but are useful to students, writers, and researchers. Because so much of the county history has been destroyed in fire, the museum is a place to find information not available in books. Through those genealogy research, those doing genealogy research turn to the museum to search for previous generations. I've attached the beginning of somebody's thesis, it's a master's thesis. And when you look through this, you'll see the amount of discovery that he found in the museum. 35 of the 35 figures, 10 of them came from the museum. And this person is also a new member to the board. His name is Aaron Rowell, and he is a Native American Choctaw Indian, Native American. The museum could be somewhere else and still be of benefit to the community. However, the building was saved to be a museum because of the building's significance to the site. There's a public well buried in the front lawn. There's a statue supposedly buried in the front yard. The fact that the site is the tallest point in Douglasville and was selected as a site of previous courthouses for a reason, to elevate all that is strong and important about Douglas County. Also, the board has done a lot of changes since October, when the lease was eliminated. Our media has gone through the roof. We've expanded it to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, where in October we had 15,800 hits to our Facebook pages. We're up to 44,175. And Elena Myers-Taylor was a big hit with a lot of our visitors to the museum.
Okay.
So,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you for your time.
All right, your time is up. Thank you. Sherry, how many seconds did we have left?
How many does she have left? She had 3 seconds left.
Okay, 3 seconds left. Okay, thank you. All right, who's next, Madam Clerk?
Chairman, before I call up the next one, I'm just going to let you know that I will hold up when the first bell goes off. I will hold up, and that way you'll know that you have 15 seconds left at that point. Okay. The next one up is Colt Hamrick.
Good morning, Commissioners. Colt Hamrick, 3643 Johnston Road. I just want to say before I start, Ms. Mitchell, I hope you get the justice that you and your son deserve. I'd like to take the opportunity to speak on something that's bigger than a building, a lease, or a line item in a budget. Perception and legacy. When a town has a history museum, it sends a message. It tells residents and visitors alike that this community has a distinct identity, that we are not just another exit off the interstate, not just a pass-through town, not just rooftops and retail. We are a place with a story. A museum gives a town a sense of place, and it anchors us. It becomes a cultural and educational hub, a gathering point for school groups, civic clubs, families tracing their genealogy, veterans sharing their stories, and young people learning where they came from. It's where the accomplishments and the failures of our founders are preserved honestly, not to glorify the past, but to understand it. It tells the world we honor where we've been, but there's a practical side as well. A museum enhances tourism appeal. It strengthens downtown traffic, gives visitors one more reason to stop, to walk our streets, to eat in our restaurants, to shop in our stores, and it adds depth to our economic ecosystem. It makes Douglas County not just a convenient place, but a meaningful one. A town without a history museum, however, which would be the alternative, can begin to feel generic, interchangeable. A bedroom community with no central narrative, without a visible institution dedicated to preserving local heritage, the perception becomes that our stories are scattered, undocumented, or worse, disposable. And when a community loses its focal point for shared history, something else erodes too: cohesion. Museums do more than display artifacts. They create civic dialogue. They give residents something to rally around. They help us see ourselves as part of a longer story, one that didn't start with us and won't end with us. That truly matters. History museums shape identity. They shape self-perception. They help citizens feel connected, not just to a location on a map, but to a lineage of people who built, struggled, sacrificed, and preserved. The question before us is not simply whether a museum occupies space in a building. The real question is, what kind of county do we want to be perceived as? A county that projects heritage, pride, and community, or one known only for its present amenities? Because perception shapes reality, identity shapes investment, and pride shapes participation. The Douglas County Museum of History and Art is not just preserving objects, it is preserving belonging. I urge you to recognize the role it plays in identity building, civic engagement, and economic vitality. I urge you to see it not as a cost, but as an investment in who we are and how we are remembered. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our next one to speak will be Jerry Williams.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
And thank you for your time. I know you guys have a difficult job, and I just reminded. I won't take long. I'll just say, I served on a cemetery committee, and at Bassett Creek, somebody gave land. And at that cemetery, there's Confederate soldiers, there's Union soldiers, there's Native Americans, there's slaves, there's free people who were not committed to slavery, but because of the economy they had. So I don't want to bore you, I don't want to continue to beat a dead horse, but I think you received some new information. Not about where the county came from, but where we're going. And I just ask, if I could, that you reconsider and give the new committee a chance to show the future as well as the past. You don't have to be proud of where you came from, but there is a sense of pride of where you guys can lead us to. I thank you for your time. Thank you. I give back my time.
Mr. Jerry, you said committee. What committee?
There's a committee that I'm sure there's a committee, probably an ad hoc committee, and I know it doesn't have the authority because it wasn't appointed by this board.
I didn't know, you weren't specific. What committee?
There's a committee, a museum committee.
Okay, thank you.
There's a museum
That's-
committee.
okay,
And
I just need
I
some
think they
clarity.
brought forth to you, ma'am,
Yes,
new
sir.
information.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I wanted to make sure I had clarity. Okay.
The next one is Homer Danley.
Good morning, Commissioners. As I was sitting back there looking and having been the first African-American to serve on the City Council, Mr. Acarez, I can know what it must feel like, because when I looked at this picture, I was you, but I didn't even have the two clerks on the other side that I could relate to. And I had to kind of represent a whole people. And I think it's important, I speak on behalf of the museum, it's important that information is kept somewhere in a sacred position, so as people go, they don't take for granted that this is just the way it is, but some people had to sacrifice to make these things happen. We had people in Douglasville about it, one Miss Lula Parker and Miss Catherine Wynn, and these are people who fought to keep the history. And one of the greatest complaints we had, having been a retired educator, taught for 30 years, and when I was teaching social studies and got to teach history a couple times, and I couldn't find my history in the books that I was using to teach the kids. And I'm hoping that as kids learn about Douglas County, that there will be some place that they can go central to check on the history. And when I was asked to serve on the committee, my first response was, I don't know, because I heard there was some stuff going on about the courthouse and these type things. But when I got into it and started looking, I found that the people everybody on the committee weren't the same thing. And I think as you look in this county, I don't think anybody would say that history is not important, that we should not have a place to preserve and this type thing. And some way, and this is just me on the outside looking in, that this whole idea got sidelined and it became politics and it became about race and became about all the things that we don't need, you know. This country right now is more divided than it's ever been in my lifetime. And even when you look backwards, it's probably more divided now because it's not just divided, you know, by race, it's divided by everything. And even with war, you know, we're right in the middle of war and this type of thing. So I'm just hoping that you will give this committee a chance to see what we can do with this museum, because I think what we're going to accomplish is much bigger than the museum. I think we're going to accomplish something that I heard from one of the commissioners that we need more than anything, and that's peace. One of the commissioners was asked, you know, you're doing a lot of good things, this type thing. What do you really, out of all of that, what would be your greatest accomplishment? And they said peace. Out of everything, peace. And that's where I am right now. These committee members working with Mr. Wynn and Mr. Popham and Chris and those, I've just seen a way where we can really be a contribution to the community. And we hope that you will reconsider the new committee request for a lease. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our next
Mr.
speaker is
Danley, thank you.
Sabine Kelly.
Okay.
Good morning, and
Good
thank
morning.
you for letting me speak. My address is P.O. Box 536, Sabina Kelly, and I want to thank you all for letting me speak this morning. My husband and I moved to Douglas County to get out of Atlanta and to be in a wonderful community that Douglas County has been. I've got some concerns about the county, and mainly the number one concern is the Atlanta Regional Commission. Since we signed on with them, seems like all of our rules are what the Atlanta Regional Commission wants us to do with our zoning and with our people that we let move in, businesses coming in, data centers, craziness. And I'm just concerned about that. And I'd like for Douglas County to come back to being Douglas County and being more concerned about the citizens. We had property taxes last year that everybody came in. We had 3 meetings. The courtroom was full, and everybody in the courtroom stood up and said, please stop spending money on things that they felt that was useless of spending money on. And again, it goes back to the Atlanta Regional Commission and some of the rules and regulations. But we're spending too much money, and the finance department still hasn't been addressed. I see that we finally have our Douglas County Auditory Advisory Committee that y'all are going to talk about today. Afraid I have to leave early and I won't be able to hear about that, and I'm interested, and we'll watch on TV later on and we'll see what's going on. But I'm hoping that y'all took some of the people that were here in the courtroom and asked to be on the committees and help out Douglas County to go through the finance department stuff, because for the last 2 years, Dr. Corbin could not get up here and talk about the finance situation in Douglas County. He
There will
had
be no
reason.
personal attacks, please.
I'm sorry.
No names, just no personal
sorry.
attacks on the staff.
I
Thank you.
apologize.
Okay,
I strike that from the top.
Thank you.
Okay. But yes, if we can't have it written up on what our finance department is actually doing, it's hard for us to understand why so much money is being spent. And another question I have for you real quick before my 3 minutes are up. I spoke months ago about Chapel Hill News and Views having the incorrect information about our Douglas County meetings. It only talks about our second meetings later on this month, and they start at 7 p.m., which I believe they start at 6 p.m. So that still hasn't been corrected. And Sentinel gets mailed to us, so we don't hear anything until after meetings. Thank you, and I apologize for going over the 3 minutes.
No,
Y'all
you
have a
didn't go over
blessed
your 3
week. I
minutes.
appreciate y'all.
You didn't go over. She had 15 seconds left.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but I'm just saying, how many seconds did she have left? Wait a minute, I don't want to cut you off, but how many seconds?
She had about 3.
She said you had about 3 seconds left, so we just trying. Okay, thank you. All right. Well,
Okay. Our next speaker is Jim Popham.
Good morning.
good
My
morning.
name is Jim Popham, 8599 Estelle Street, and I was here to talk about the museum for just a second.
Yes, sir.
Everyone that spoke this morning about the museum is on the board of directors now. It's a new board, and we have new ideas. We're using the CAC economic study. I wanted to bring up that the downtown impact on the museum is almost $1 million annually last year, according to the study from the program that they use. And for so far this January, it was 64,000, and in February it was estimated going to be 72,000. And what I wanted to do is talk about March. We're going to open up celebrating the Braves being here for 60 years now, and we're going to have an exhibit. The grand opening is March 21st at the museum. We're going to have a few players there. We're going to have over 150 game-used artifacts based on things from 1966 when the Braves first got here, all the way up to the present-day team. And I was wanting to invite all of y'all to come and see for yourself what the new museum looks like, and that the type of exhibits that we'll be trying to get more of. So thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Popham.
That's the last of our speakers.
Okay. Appreciate everyone coming in this morning with their comments. We're going to move on to the next item, Board of Commissioners. Commissioners, do we need a motion to approve the agenda? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board? We have a motion and a second. Please cast your electronic votes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries, Board. We're going to move on. Board of Commissioners, please, as a reminder, we have 3 minutes. Clerk, you will make sure we're on
Yes, ma'am.
point
Yes, ma'am.
to make our remarks in 2 minutes for rebuttal. Thank you so much. Again, let me introduce our new clerk. Sherry Mathis is our
Thank you.
new county clerk.
Thank you,
And with
Chairman.
New county clerk, new ideas, and we're just going to stick to the rules, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Got it
you.
for 3 minutes.
All right. Approval of the minutes. Next on our agenda is the minute meetings. Commissioners, please review those minutes for tomorrow and be prepared to approve or deny accordingly. Public hearing. Clerk, please begin with our public hearing and agenda items.
Okay. First on our agenda is a public hearing, the public hearing will actually be tomorrow, but it's a public hearing on the draft capital improvements element CIE impact fee study. Allison Duncan.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, Board of
Good morning.
Commissioners. We appreciate this opportunity to bring to you what is essentially an administrative pass-through request. We've been doing a lot of work on impact fees, and so the first step we need from y'all as we enter kind of the home stretch here is to transmit our capital improvements element to the state and the regional commission for review. So I thought that as soon as I got up here and said impact fees, there's going to be a lot of questions. So I have asked our consultant, Paige Hatley with Ross & Associates, to come and give you a very brief overview of where we are in the process and exactly what we're asking for you to do. But again, the required public hearing tomorrow is only going to be to transmit the capital improvements element, but since this is the first time you're seeing that, I wanted to give her a minute to just share a few slides with you and answer any questions you may have. So this is Paige Hatley with Ross & Associates.
Thank you, and good morning.
Good morning, Paige.
I'm going to start very briefly as to the very next step, which, as Allison mentioned, is a public hearing tomorrow and what that relates to, and then I'm going to talk about the CIE, which is the subject of the hearing, and where that fits in the overall process of the study of the county evaluating the potential to adopt an impact fee program. So the purpose of tomorrow's hearing is to receive public comment as required by the Georgia Department of Community Affairs on a draft capital improvements element, or CIE. The CIE is required of all communities that collect impact fees. It is something that, if adopted, if the county ultimately adopts an impact fee program, it would have to adopt the CIE as part of that. The CIE focuses on capital project needs. For the county, we have been looking at specifically the categories of parks and recreation, libraries, road, and public safety. If the CIE is adopted as part of an impact fee program, then that would automatically amend your comprehensive plan. The CIE would act as an appendix to the comp plan in accordance with state guidelines. The CIE is your project-based document of any impact fee program. It identifies projected needs for expanded community facilities over the coming decades. And of that long-range list, looking at additional public services needed to accommodate a growing community, there's a required 5-year community work program where the Georgia Department of Community Affairs wants to know what's going to be happening in the near term. I want to stress that this is the project-based document, but it does not address the fees themselves. Fee calculations as to what would be needed to help pay for these projects is handled separately. That's not something that's reviewed by the state. When we talk about eligible public facility categories and expansion of public services for parks, library, public safety, and roads, more specifically, examples include various recreation components such as playgrounds, trails, library collections, buildings associated with your public services, communication towers for 911, heavy vehicles, so any vehicle that has a service life of at least 10 years, that's a requirement under state law, such as fire apparatus, and then major road projects. As a reminder, this does not, you'll notice that there isn't staffing and maintenance operations. That's not something that can be covered under state law with impact fees. Lastly then, as far as the CIE and the remaining process to complete the impact fee study to consider adoption of an impact fee program, once the CIE is transmitted, that would happen after the public hearing tomorrow. The board would then be in a position to authorize transmittal by resolution. There's about a 2-month process that DCA has to complete the review, and it's during that time that we get into details as to the fees that could be adopted to help pay for those projects, and we'll be engaging with the board on that final matter because the fees themselves would then become part of a development impact fee ordinance. The ordinance requires 2 public hearings at the end of the process, and once the public hearings have been held, and if the ordinance and fee schedule is adopted, that and adoption of the CIE would then constitute an impact fee program and would allow the county to, at a point thereafter, to begin collections. And that is an overview of the CIE, where it is in the process, and what this means for tomorrow, and of course, happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, do we have any questions regarding the CIE impact fee study process?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, just want to dig a little deeper in the road projects. Is that also considered for like paving, road repairs, or is that only for new roads or roads expansion? I just want to get a little bit more
question,
specifics.
and you have answered it, because the first part is no. Unfortunately, it doesn't cover paving, potholes, repairs. The state law talks about increasing capacity. So the idea being that impact fees is a one-time collection from development development to help pay for expanding services to meet the demands of that. That means road widenings, major intersection improvements, roundabouts. So getting more cars on the road, you're accommodating more traffic because you have more people coming into the community potentially. And so that's where we have to focus then on the specific type of road projects that are eligible for impact fee funding. It's that very distinct subset of capacity adding projects, we call them.
Okay. And then just last question related to the fees, do they need to be set aside in a separate line item or a separate budget, or would they go into the general funds?
So, great question as well. It would, the impact fees would have to be in their own interest-bearing account. And so that's each subcategory, such as sheriff and parks, library, et cetera, would have its own, sort of be, I guess, a sub-fund, have its own account number to be tracked. And then at the each year, there would be a consolidated financial report that's just a summary that DCA requires to say how much in fees was collected by each of these categories and total, how much was spent, and what do you expect to be spending the impact fees on in the near future. So that I'm jumping ahead to an annual reporting requirement if the county adopts an impact fee program. It's fairly straightforward as far as the record keeping, but maintaining the funds in an interest-bearing account is a state law requirement.
I see. All right, thank you. All right, Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Braxton. Any other questions, board? Okay, Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you, and Allison, thank you for you guys putting, getting us in line and on the right impact fee direction, I guess I'll call it. So thank you guys for doing this, and to the residential committee, housing committee, for kind of leading the charge in all of this. So to that committee, thank you again as well. A couple of questions in reference to the fees you just mentioned, though. So when these fees are being collected, will those fees be shifted? Not the fees, because I understand they'll go in a separate category. It doesn't go into the general fund budget. But those that interest that's earned off of these funds that may be sitting at any given time, will that interest also go back into the account that deals in impact fees, or does those funds that may have been earned off that money that may have been sitting until we use it? What are those additional, the interest funds or earned funds go?
Everything's associated with that dedicated
Okay.
impact fee account. So it
Good.
is distinct in its entirety, and,
Yes.
and then as additional funding source when it comes budgeting time, look at the impact fee fund account
Yes.
as a standalone. Yes, sir.
Good. I kind of thought that. I just want to make sure
Nope,
that,
that's- you
no
got
money
it.
kind of gets shifted over because there was some interest earned, and, it goes into the general fund, which is great to know, though. And the other question, though, so the categories, are the categories already carved out as to, I saw the categories, but are the amount go into these categories? Are they already laid out, or that's something that this board will determine that as we kind of collect these impact fees?
So there are, as mentioned, the CIE just delineates the eligible projects.
Correct.
And then impact fees that would be collected can only be spent on those projects.
Got it.
As far as the fees
So
themselves.
it's based off the project itself when.
That
Right.
factors into the calculations. You will have in front of you to consider what will be the maximum fees that could be charged for about a 2-page listing of land uses, residential and everything non-residential.
Okay.
And what per unit the fee could be. So per dwelling unit, it could be X number of dollars for single-family house. And for businesses, it's typically per square foot. And so those calculations that we have been working on will be presented to you to say, this is the ceiling. You cannot go above this ceiling. This is the maximum that has been established as far as ascertaining new development's fair share. So they can't be charged more than their fair share of costs for additional
Agreed.
public facilities. In addition, you will be provided information from the appointed advisory committee. So they are still we're going to be convening, I believe, one more time just to talk about the fees and any recommendation that they want to pass along for your consideration. As mandated by state law, that's their responsibility to just to provide advice to you all. And then we'll be having fee setting discussion or discussions where you will have the information that tells you this is what you could charge. We will be looking at surrounding communities, who has impact fees, what are they charging as additional information.
Right.
And that all boils down to you all. You just don't have that information as of yet because we are working on getting the project document out, and once that's out the door, then we are finessing the number crunching and finalizing the fee schedule that can be considered and presented to you for detailed discussion.
Got it. So this committee will be ongoing. It'll be ever evolving. It won't.
No, they are responsible for being formed and convening just for the duration of the impact fee study.
Okay.
If the county ends up adopting a program and wants to do a major update or amendment like you do with your comp plan every 5 years, you would need to reconstitute a committee to weigh in because their charge is to discuss the fees. Are they potentially going up with the future fee schedule? And they need to be able to weigh in on that in accordance with the requirements of state law.
So-
But in other words, for the purpose of this study, they will not meet once or if an impact fee program is adopted after that.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, this committee that's formed will eventually go away once this is established.
Yes, sir, that's how it happens in communities. But again, if you were to undertake a major amendment and were to revisit fees down the road, you would have to appoint another committee to act as an advisory committee again, should that happen years down the road.
Interesting. Okay, because I always thought in my head that it would be ongoing because of the potential changes that may be forecast and again, how things, in my head, that's kind of how I thought it would actually continue, advising or moving, because this target is going to move as the economy and or land use and or developers come and go. So that's why I thought it might be something that will be ongoing. So Alice, like you want to speak to that?
Just quick clarification. I want to jump in and first and foremost thank all my colleagues in Douglas County who have been impacted by helping us pull this information together. Because here what we're focusing on is the capital improvements element, which is just the project list. So to your point about the kind of whole review piece of this, there's been a lot of input from staff in various departments about what the projects are. I'm going to encourage y'all to take a look at that. You should have that document in your packet as well as the resolution. But in addition to that, we've had 3 advisory committee meetings, the most recent one as of last week. We had some really good feedback from the advisory committee about 3 potential ways we could move forward with impact fees. And so
Okay.
we're convening another meeting of that group to just see if we can kind of pin down a recommendation to the board. But beyond that, there is the residential committee, as you pointed out, and we will bring kind of the CIE and the impact fee number to the next residential committee to give that committee an opportunity to have a deep dive into that.
Yes.
And then the residential committee, I would assume, it would obviously be up to the chair of that committee, could maintain kind of the regular reporting about impact fees like we've been doing to this point. So at every meeting, we've given you all a little update about where we are in the process. And we would certainly be able to continue to do that if you wanted to have some sort of ongoing committee structure that was keeping an eye on that. But we've certainly done our best to put as much out there in terms of getting, feedback on this and being as transparent as we possibly can about impact fees. And I would just kind of offer that residential committee would be sort of the standing committee by which we could report this up to on an ongoing basis if it's the will of the board.
Understood. And I think I'm glad that you stated that, because that's kind of where I was going, trying to see kind of what the future looks like, not just what we'll end up today with, not today, but, right now.
That's a great point. And the committee, as we just are tying to the exact language of the state law, they're to provide input on crafting the ordinance, i.e. the
Correct.
fee schedule. And since that typically is a one-time matter until the point that a community elects to completely revisit their impact fees, just as they would do a major update to a comp plan, that's where their responsibilities sort of begin and end. Thank you, Allison, that was Very well put.
That was perfect. Thank you, Allison, and again, thank you for, and you guys for all the work that you guys have done and how we are kind of moving forward with, how this shapes out. And for those who actually have been a part of this, that's the even better part, because those that are on the committee are those that will be charged with this potential impact fee that may come out of this, though. So, but again, thank you. I appreciate it. Job well done, and we'll kind of see what happens here in the future. So, thank you again. I yield back, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Mitchell. Any other questions, board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. Madam Clerk?
Okay. Our next agenda on here is the grants. Number 7, authorization to accept the fiscal year 24 AG 82643 5310 voucher program grant in the amount of $155,824.26 from the Atlanta Regional Commission, with a local match of $38,956.07 to be funded by New Freedom Grant, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Joey McKelvey.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair,
Good morning.
Commissioners, administrative staff. The 5310 New Freedom Voucher Program started 15 years ago, and it's been instrumental in giving us the ability to add an extra layer of mobility options for our aging community. What you have before you is the sub-grant agreement for FY26. She gave you the amounts, $194,780 total award. That's representative of $155,824 in federal funds and $38,956 in local match. This has been reviewed and approved by legal. If you have any questions, I'll be free to answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. McKelvey.
McKelvey.
Okay. Any questions, board? Okay. Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
So just a quick question in regards to the date. Do we think that we feel pretty confident that we'll have all services completed in Attachment A through the scope of services by the end of September?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right, great. All right, thank you. Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, just one.
Commissioner Mitchell?
And this may be for staff. This local match, is that, we're accounting for that already? Or this $38,956?
Yes, we've budgeted for that amount.
He is staff.
Oh, sorry, okay.
No worries. New
Okay.
face.
So you've already budgeted for that amount?
Yes.
I guess it is, okay. And my apologies.
No worries.
I was just kind of leaning on my dear friend David over here to make sure that we are accounted for, but that is, so in your budget, that's accounted for,
Yes.
that we're good on that end. Okay, all righty, I'll yield. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. While you at the podium, Mr. McKelvey, just tell us your title, and I know you're new to the organization, and welcome aboard, and that's why Commissioner Mitchell said bring up staff. So
Yep.
if you could just introduce yourself and tell us your title.
Joey McKelvey. I'm a 12-year Douglas County resident.
Yes.
I've been in the, Deputy Director of Transportation for Connect Douglas.
Okay.
Been in the transportation industry for over 20 years. I cut my teeth at a small rural agency in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is where I'm from.
Yes.
From there, went to Austin, Texas to manage at Cap Metro, Northern Virginia, PRTC. When I first came to Atlanta, I was the general manager for Express, so I had an opportunity to work with the Greta agency. From there, I went to Cobb Link, where I managed for about 4 years, and then Columbia, South Carolina sometime at that agency, and now I'm here in Douglasville.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Deputy
Yes,
Director.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, board, for our Deputy Director? I had one question
Yes,
for
ma'am.
you. Will this allow, we had a waiting list for a while for our citizens on this voucher program. Would this amount of money capture or this, or? can you-
Unfortunately not. We took, there were some competing priorities on the state level.
Yeah.
Some competing interests that took priority on the state level. So funding for the program was cut 63%. So unfortunately not, but we are exploring some ways to see what we can do to open that wait list up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
All
I
right.
look forward to speaking with you offline.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And welcome aboard
Thank
again.
you.
Madam Clerk?
Okay, we'll start our business items now. Number 8, approval to renew an annual agreement with Biddle Consulting Group in the amount of $6,757 for critical test Genius Suite and public safety dispatcher pre-employment assessment tool to be funded by the E911 budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Katrina Harley.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Board of Commissioners, County Administration. This annual agreement is for a pre-employment assessment tool designed specifically for E911 with Biddle Consulting Group for a product known as Criticall. I am happy to report that with the assistance of County Legal and Procurement, we are able to achieve a non-binding multi-year agreement that would bring this amount down actually to $5,488 and then it would be an annual step-up agreement with Biddle Consulting, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Director Hartley? Do we have any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
sorry.
Commissioner Mitchell.
I just needed a chance to write down that, give me that number again,
5,488.
Yes, okay. And you said something about this is an annual step up, like?
Yes.
We get some bonus points here for what? I mean, what that looks like. What is that?
So the amount will actually increase incrementally instead of starting out with the 6,757. We won't, that amount won't be necessary for us until the 28-29 year.
Okay, you lost me there for a second. I apologize.
So it is a multi-year step-up agreement starting at 5,488, and it will incrementally increase instead of beginning at 6,757.
It'll
Yes.
eventually get to 6757 eventually.
Yes.
Okay. But it won't start there.
2029, yes.
Got it. Gotcha. And so there's no additional bells and whistles that comes along with this piece outside of this is the norm. It's just that we'll start at this 5,488
Yes.
number. Got it. And the annual, and how, what's that incremental increase like? 2%, 5% for the next X amount of years, or kind of how would that
Yes,
work?
it's 2 to 5%. The 6,757 is the list price.
Right.
And so that will be achieved in 28-29, and it will remain that for 28-29, 29-30, and 30-31.
Got it. Gotcha. Okay. And are you our staff, right? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry?
I yield back.
I didn't hear you.
Thank you. All right, I yield back, Madam Chair.
All right. Any other questions, board? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you,
Chair.
Madam. Thank you, Director Hartley. Okay.
Our next item is number 9, request for annexation by the city of Austell for approximately 1.03 acres at 208 Maxim Road, parcel ID 02-581-820001, Allison Duncan.
All right, good morning again, Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners. We do have a request for annexation. You should have received a full copy of the request in your packet. This is from the city of Austell to annex approximately 1 acre. It is identified as 208 Maxim Road. It is actually multiple leasable suites at the Petromart gas station. So it's 202, 204, 206, and 208 Maxim Road. The application indicates the request for annexation is to fulfill the comprehensive plan implementation, though in a conversation with city staff, we did note that their comprehensive plan actually does not address this area. They said they plan to address that when they do their comprehensive plan update in a year or two. We also had asked the city if they would possibly have a more current survey. The current survey that was submitted with the application is for a 1 acre tract that was done in 1984, I believe, based on a meets and bounds description from the 1940s. The city of Austell has declined to update their survey and instead relying on the parcel ID and the description and the legal description. None of those in and of themselves would rise to the level of sustaining an objection for this request. They'd indicated that the city plans to just continue to use the property as is, which is a multi-tenant leasable space. There is a potential loss of revenue from the alcohol permit, the beer and wine excise tax, and the occupational tax fees. That would come out to just a little under $2,000 annually. Again, not in and of itself a reason to raise an objection in terms of the statute for this. So staff is recommending that there would not be grounds to file an objection for the request, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about this.
Okay. Thank you so much, Manager. Any questions, board? All right. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. You sure? I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep moving.
All right.
I sit down?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Our next,
Okay, you said you'll wait.
our next item is number 10, approval of Central Square's annual and integration fees in the amount of $4,840 to be funded by the fire department budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
Good morning, Madam Chair,
Good morning.
Vice Chair, Commissioners, County Administrators. I'm Miles Allen, your Douglas County Fire Chief, and we're asking for approval for this this contract with Central Square as an amendment for annual integration fee. It's an add-on to our First Due programming.
Okay. Thank you so much, Fire Chief. Any questions for Fire Chief? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is number 11, approval to close out the FEMA-GEMA Hazard Mitigation Program Grant HMGP 4501-0076, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. James Queen.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This is simply a authorization for Madam Chair to sign a letter to request closeout of this grant from GEMA and FEMA. They require this letter of request for closeout in order to pay the final reimbursements.
Okay, any questions for our Director Queen? All right, no
Thank you.
questions.
Next item, number 12, approval to amend the contract with SurfPro of Douglasville for the repairs to the Fire Department Headquarters Building in the amount of $12,763.95 to be funded by the Fire Department's budget and reimbursed by insurance. Amend the budget and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Justin McDermott.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Board of Commissioners, County Administration. This item came before you originally in September of '25 and was approved for a lower amount. It was pursuant to a request for quote to repair after the flood to the fire EMS headquarters. Unfortunately, upon completion, there were a few items that were a little bit more expensive than we expected. They did come down on the records portion, but the fire portion did exceed what the number you see before you. I've already spoken with insurance and have a check in hand to reimburse that extra cost, but I am asking you to amend the contract to pay for that amount.
Okay. Any questions for Director McDermott?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So just trying to tie in the $12,763.95 for the backup documentation.
Yes, sir.
Because everything else points to the 45,950.
Yes, sir.
38. So is there a line item that shows specifically, and is this in addition to the 45K?
So the total amount would be, the contracted estimate was a 45.9, so it is in addition, but I already will have that reimbursed. So the total amount for what you're seeing will be 58,714.33. I've already spoken with fire department to make sure they have it in their budget to cover, as well as finance and procurement.
Okay.
Yes.
So then the actual cost, again, just gets us back to the 45K.
It'll get us, if you approve the increase to the contract, it will get us to
It'll be
58,714.33.
Right, but we're getting reimbursed.
Yes, sir.
For this
Yes, sir.
$12,763. So we're back at a
Yes, sir.
net of the 45.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much for that clarification.
Okay.
All right, Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Any other questions for Director McDermott? All right, thank you,
Thank
Director.
you.
All right.
Number 13, authorization to install a multi-way stop sign at Orkney Way and Blarney Stone Trail intersection due to limited site distance with no impact to the budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Solomon Rana.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, and County Administration. There's a subdivision proposed off of Post Road called the West Village at St. Andrews, Unit 2. This subdivision will have its primary entrance through Post Road, but a secondary entrance through Orkney Road. This new intersection has very limited site distance. In your packets, you would see the elevated exit from this new proposed roadway that limits the safe site distance required for an intersection. Therefore, the contractor will be installing a always stop sign for this new intersection, and we're recommending your approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Managing Director Rana. Any questions?
Yes.
Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
All right, good morning. And just for educational purposes, I'm just curious as why this type of request comes to the BOC.
So anytime there's a change to a, excuse me, intersection control method, for example, excuse me, if it goes from a stop control to a traffic signal or a roundabout, it requires the process as we come before you to request board's approval. And in case there's any public concerns, this is an opportunity for public to review upcoming changes and voice any concerns.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because there's no budgetary impact, so I was
Right.
just curious. I said, well, why would this come forth to the BOC?
Yep, just regular procedure about intersection upgrades, and if there's board consensus that this could be handled administratively, I would be happy to work with you on that.
Okay. And maybe that's something we can talk about further. All right, Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Vice Chair, you have the floor.
No questions. Just want to say thank you for listening to my constituents and taking the time to go out there and make sure that they have a safe neighborhood. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
I yield back, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions? All right, next.
Number 14, approval to accept a supplemental agreement with Georgia Department of Transportation in connection with the PI 0019889 Lee Road Extension Project in the amount of $40,000 to be funded by the SPLOST 2016 fund, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Solomon Rana.
Madam Chair, Lee Road Extension Project proposes extension of Lee Road from Fairburn all the way to Bomar, and then it ultimately terminates at Pope Road intersection with a roundabout. This project is currently under design, and per our IGA with Georgia Department of Transportation, this is one of those rare cases where we are paying GDOT for oversight. They are reviewing our plans and they're approving our milestones as we progress through the design phase and eventually heading towards right-of-way acquisition. The first contract that authorized initial $40,000, those funds have been expensed, and GDOT is asking for an additional $40,000 for the remainder of the project. This is to be funded from the existing project budget, so no change to project allocation or the budget in SPLOST, and we're recommending your approval. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Managing Director Rana? Okay.
Number 15, approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Douglasville in connection with the holiday signal timing adjustments in the amount of $5,750 annually to be funded by the department's budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Solomon Rana.
Madam Chair, each year, county and the city partner to manage A18 signals in city limits that require special adjustments during the holiday time. Usually this is done in the fall of every year, but given the time it's taken in the prior years, we're taking a head start in this effort. The total amount of those adjustments are $5,750. They are divided equally between the county, and our share would be funded through DOT's budget, and the other half comes from the city. It's about 18 signals that are listed in your agenda packets, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions, Board Commissioners? Okay, Commissioner Raxton, you have the floor.
Thank you. So one of the things I would love to see is just some of the stats from prior years, just to show what the benefits has been with the adjustments during the traffic signals. So if there's anything that you have, that would be great to share with our residents and our citizens, because of course they're already complaining traffic is bad. But we have those metrics, to show, hey, when we time it or we work with a vendor, that would be great to have. So if there's anything that you have, we'd love to get a copy of that.
Well, historically, with the adaptive signal timing adjustments and on-time adjustments, we've achieved 5 to 8% efficiency in traffic operations, and that is a representation of levels of service on ground. That may not be visibly obvious, but when we run our traffic counts and delay per vehicle, those numbers is something that we've observed over the prior years. So 5 to 8% is a great win for a busy time of the year. And then for specifically, we may not have it for each signal outlined, but overall, especially for Chapel Hill, that's what we've observed. And if there's any additional data you'd like to see, we'd be happy to pull that together.
Okay, yeah, that would be great again to share with our residents.
Of course.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Braxton. Any other questions? All right.
Number 16, approval of
Thank you
a
so much,
change-
Managing Director. Thank you.
Approval of a change order with UES in the amount of $17,000 to be funded by SPOS 2022 fund for special inspections at the E911 backup facility, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Julia Jenko.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, County Administration. This is simply an extension to the existing contract that we extended for the E911 backup. We did PSI, the primary general contractor, back in October. We're reviewing all our contracts, making sure we're current, and then going ahead and extending this one as well. And this is just the special inspections we do with every build.
Okay. Any questions, Board, for our Director Jenka? Okay.
Number 17, approval of a change order with Place Services in the amount of $8,384 to be funded by SPOS 2022 fund for architectural services for the DOT Administration Building, and extend the contract date to 4/30/2026, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Julia Jacob.
Again, this is another extension. This is for the DOT admin building. And that one has, we had a couple of delays. One were related to materials, weather, as well as some change orders that we did on the facility. The site was originally scheduled to open in February. We're now opening it in April. And this item and the next item are related to the DOT admin building.
All right. Any questions, Board, for Director Jenka? Okay.
Number 18, approval of a contract extension with Albion Construction for the SPOS 2022 DOT admin building project with no additional cost to the county, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Julia Jenko.
Again, this is the one I just mentioned earlier. The DOT admin building, we're very excited that we'll be opening in April. We're in the course of scheduling moving right now, and we're having a good time getting this project wrapped up.
Okay. Any questions for our Director Jenka? Okay.
Thank
you. Director.
Number 19, approval to amend the contract with Civic Plus for dock access web accessibility software in the prorated amount of $13,132.80, ending 2/17/2027, with an annual renewal cost of $26,265.60, beginning 2/18/27, to be funded from the general appropriations in the general fund for countywide system augmentation and upgrades, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Yvette Jones.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chairman, Board of Commissioners, and County Administration. It's a pleasure to stand before you. This is a request for new technology to support our efforts to meet federal accessibility guidelines, and we view this tool as a critical and necessary tool in that ongoing effort. And we've outlined exactly what dock access is and some of the things it can do in your packets, and I stand here ready to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions for our Chief Communications Officer? Commissioner Braxton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, and good morning.
Good morning.
So greatly, I'm looking forward to this. I know this is definitely going to help us to make sure that we're in compliance from an ADA perspective.
Yes.
And anything else you want to share with that, just to give us additional context of how this process is going to help us to get there?
So this is really an ongoing process. Website accessibility falls in two main categories: navigation and documents. And so we've got the navigation piece pretty much taken care of through our website vendor with technology that is already up and running on our website, which kind of works in conjunction with those who have impairments with the technology they already have. This we view as a critical next step because Doc Access does real-time conversion of documents on the website. So if someone's coming to our website and looking at documents that have not been remediated, as it were, and by remediation we mean actually altered to fit the new accessibility standards, this technology is sort of a one-step technology where is with the press of a button, it switches over and it reads that information and converts it to HTML. So meaning real-time, I can pull up a document, maps, graphics, all sorts of complex documents that are not text. Doc Access does it in real time immediately. And so it gives us the opportunity to be compliant immediately once it is on the website. And then it also allows us some time to do conversion of those documents. It allows us the time and opportunity to do that because that takes human intervention. This technology is the flip of a button and it happens immediately.
All right, well, that's great. Well, certainly as the new chair of the Technology Committee, you know, I'm looking forward to working with you and from an IT perspective and anything that we can do from a technology, let us know and we're here to assist.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Raxton. Any other questions? Commissioner Mitchell, you have the floor.
Just want, first of all, thank you for having that meeting.
Sure.
I don't know when it was.
A couple of weeks ago, yes.
Yeah. That was really helpful in understanding this federal mandate and what we can or what we must do,
Yes.
regardless of what the costs are. And I guess the only question I have in that cost is the question about the cost of 132, I think it is.
Yes.
Is that number is changing beginning 2/18/2027, if I'm seeing this right?
Yes,
correct?
they're giving us a 50% discount so that they can go ahead and onboard us. They recognize that this is something that, you know, communities are grappling with as they work to meet that April deadline.
Correct.
And so we already have a relationship with Civic Plus. They've been a great vendor to us in terms of all of our website needs. And so to make this happen, they are working with us to give us that 50% discount for that first year.
Right.
And then we'll be back up to that, we'll be up to the 26, 265.60,
Right.
which is actually a 20% discount of the normal price.
Right,
So
and that's going to be annual.
correct.
Okay, because and you're going to definitely make sure that you account for this in your budget moving forward.
Moving forward,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
I'll be working with our CFO and county administrator to
Correct.
integrate this into my budget going forward.
Absolutely. And the software will do, and in the short story, if you could, just for the general public to understand kind of what it will do, how it will assist ADA perspective, and kind of so the general public will understand what
Okay.
that looks like and why this number that we need to still account for. Like I said, it's mandated. There's no way around this.
Yes.
This is what it is.
So I will say, I don't do this alone. I do have reinforcements in the room in case I don't get this correct. I've got our IS director here, and then Stephen Oposki, who is our production manager here. And we've all been having ongoing meetings about this whole accessibility piece, what it means, and how we're going to comply. And it's, you know, it's a little bit of a moving target because we are all learning as we
Yes.
go along. But Doc Access, I view it as a game changer because the heaviest lift in terms of accessibility is the document access piece. So what the accessibility guidelines say is that your documents must be accessible for someone with impairments. And to make a document accessible, there are certain remediation and manipulation that must happen to that document. It needs to be, you know, formatted in a certain way and read a certain way. And typically a person, that would require human intervention to do that. What Doc Access does is it converts it immediately. So you press a button and something, you know, one of the most amazing things I saw was a map. It goes in and it reads the map as text. It reads graphics as text. It describes those things. So, you know, if I'm looking at a picture, those without an impairment might see a picture on the screen of a family walking down the street with, you know, a tree-lined street pushing a stroller. A human would have to go in and write that information out
That's
on a document. This technology allows you, with the flip of a button, it reads that picture for you. It's, man and woman walking down a tree-lined street pushing a baby stroller. It is an automatic, instant conversion for someone who is on our website and navigating our website. It speaks to their technology.
Absolutely, and we could either add a person to do that at $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 or whatever that is, or look at a cost of $26,265.
That's correct.
Annually to do just that.
That's
And-
correct. Now, in fairness, this is an immediate fix. This is, as real-time fix as you're navigating our website. Now, that document, if it is deemed something that needs to remain in the long term, it will have to be remediated by human intervention. And so this just allows us a little more time to take a closer look at some of these documents, what should be there, what needs to come off, and those that need to be remediated. Then, that's kind of what we're working on, is a long-term strategy to make sure that we are compliant as an organization with website accessibility. And it is not a one-time fix. It is something we are working to build a strategy for long term.
And thank you to you and your team for actually trying to get ahead of this. So I'm just glad that Douglas Countyans and those that are abroad understand that this is something that is mandated
Yes.
from the federal side of things all the way down to us, that we will have to understand it's an ever-moving target, and we'll always be having to remediate or adjust as we go, because the entire state here is trying to learn and adjust with this. We just happen to have a company that's out there that's kind of sort of ahead of the game, and here's our opportunity to kind of jump on board and stay ahead.
It's
So,
communities, it's
yes.
organizations like ours nationwide that is grappling with this.
Absolutely. So great job.
Thank
to
you.
you and your team. So thank you again. I yield back, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Mitchell. Any other questions, board? All right, Madam Clerk.
Okay, number 20.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chief Communications Officer. Thank you.
Number 20, appointments to the Douglas County Audit Advisory Committee.
Okay. Commissioner Raxton, you are the chair of the audit committee. If you just want to update and then tell the purpose of this item.
Sure. So, as indicated by one of our residents, the Audit Advisory Committee was approved last year. So we're in the process of staffing that, if you will, with residents that will be part of the Audit Advisory Committee. Our goal is in Q2 to actually start meeting formally and putting the committee with the objectives and things that we'll be looking at and studying as it relates to Douglas County. So very excited with the two current members or residents that's being on the for your review and approval tomorrow. And with that, I'll yield back the floor to you.
Okay. You said Q2. I have a question for you. Q2, is it the end of Q2? Is that what you?
So we hadn't said if it was going to be in May or June, but
Okay.
in Q2.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to get the committee up and going. So we'll be looking again as we're staffing and as we're filling it with recommendations from our fellow commissioners. And we'll be, once we get to the point where we have that staff, and we'll get moving.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Any
thank you.
questions, board? Okay, Commissioner Mitchell?
I guess I would just ask that we kind of not put this on the consent agenda. And the other part I'll ask is, are these the only two members I'm looking here that's a part of this? Am I correct? That's looking to be a part of this, I guess I'm asking.
Yeah, these are the first two. They'll be,
Okay.
Yes. But again, each one of the commissioners will make a recommendation to who serves from their specific district.
Right. And who would these two be from? What district, I guess? I'm just curious to know.
So at this point,
One
the
of
two
them's
that's
me.
on there is
Do what now?
One of them is mine.
Okay.
Mr.
one's
Chair.
the chair and one's from District 3.
Got it. Okay, got you. Okay, so I guess we got a lot of work to do here to try to get caught up. But is that and you and Madam Chair, if I'm correct in saying this, you guys are part of the committee as chair and vice chair, if I'm correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, got it. Okay. Outside of that, okay, I guess we'll have more conversation, but I just got a couple more questions, but I'll ask my questions offline just to kind of get up to speed though, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board? If not, I'm going to yield the floor back to you, Madam Clerk.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Number 21, approval to ratify the signature on support letters for a grant application being submitted by Cobb and Douglas Public Health for congressionally directed spending funds, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Jill Hobson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On Thursday, late Thursday, we had two letters of support for some CDS funding from Public Health. They apologized profusely for their delay in getting them to us, but their deadline was Friday. So we're asking to ratify those signatures, and the letters should be in your packet.
Any questions, board? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 22, approval of a letter of support for the development of the Georgia Aquarium Conservation Campus, and to respectfully request federal partnership and investment to advance the design phase of this transformative initiative, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Does anyone want to speak on this letter?
Yeah, I believe it's congressionally directed spending as well.
Okay.
Isn't it CDS?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That was just what was in the top of the letter, what was written there. But the letter should be attached.
Okay, y'all see it? It is. Any questions, board, regarding this congressionally directed spending? Okay. There are no questions, certainly. Any comments? That's it?
Yes, ma'am. That concludes the agenda.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Board of Commissioners, do you have any comments before I tap on the shoulders of our wonderful county attorney?
We will
Okay.
be in executive session.
We are?
Yes.
Okay, just hold. I have one. Okay, Commissioner Kenner Jones, you have the floor.
I do just want to make a very, very brief comment to our citizens, the people who are watching on Facebook, the people that are in the room. I know that it can be stressful to see something like what we witnessed this morning with Malachi Mitchell's mom. I'm a mom too. I understand where her pain and her passion comes from, and the humanity that is in it. I do want to take the time to thank the deputies for trying to assist us in managing decorum, and I think that that's why making sure that we have appropriate and consistent procedures for timekeeping and keeping people on track so that we don't run into situations like that. To the two deputies that assisted, I know that that was not an easy thing to have to do this morning, especially when somebody is trying to express concerns that they have for their kid, and it's not to say, this is no indictment on the sheriff's department, the district attorney. I don't want to pretend to know the facts of the investigation, but she's hurt. I respect and honor that, but we do have to maintain a sense of consistency and decorum, and so thank you, Madam Chair, for trying to make sure that you were managing that this morning, and to our staff to be able to still come up and handle your job functions and duties, having observed something like that. I appreciate your professionalism. Madam Chair, I yield back.
Okay, thank you so much, Commissioner Kenner Jones. Vice Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenner Jones. Thank you for saying that, because I think we could all feel it. But I just want to say thank you for taking the time to bring that up. I yield back, Madam Chair.
All right, any other questions or remarks, board? And you know I'm a mother as well, and it breaks my heart. I just, I was praying, saying, God, bring him back, and I understand as a mother. So I am a mother, and I'm telling you, it's tough, and it's rough, but, I just ask God to just give some strength to Miss Mitchell as she go through this moment, and I can understand. I'm telling you, I only have one like her, and you don't get but one shot with a child, so I understand. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to certainly tap on the shoulders of our county attorney. County attorney, do we need to go into executive session?
We will, yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have, Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion to go into executive session for the following, to discuss litigation, personnel, real estate, and cybersecurity? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes.
We have a 5-0.
We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries to go into executive session. Citizens of Douglas County, we ask for your patience as the Board of Commissioners engage in our executive session. We will take a slight pause for the cause, and we will return momentarily. Again, thank you for your patience, and we will return momentarily. Thank you.